this is Tina Stitches. Today is Wednesday, July 24th, and it is almost lunchtime. I thought I better get on here and do the WIP Parade that I promised I would do. I have, 5 more days of vacation, so I better get this out of the way. It's been a busy vacation. I've gotten a few things done, and a few things have teetered away. Motivation, whatever, something stumped me, it's on the wayside. For instance, this right here is, originally it was a Save the Stitch. I picked it up at a yard sale, framed and everything, and had plans for it, and now those plans might change. Yeah, so I have it there mocking me. I made a rookie mistake, and I will explain that later on. Anyways, this is a WIP parade, not a whine about can't get things finished parade, so isn't it the same thing? Yeah, so I've pulled almost everything off of their respective Q-snaps so that everything can be shown in its entirety. There's a couple of Q-snaps that I will have to remove, but I thought let's just get this started, and then I'll pause, remove a few more things, and then continue. I'm going to try to do it in the order chronologically, like my oldest WIPs to my most recent WIPs. No new starts. I know, I said that I might, and I decided no. I'm at the right amount of stress for get that finished before I start. Yeah, so let me put these down and we'll get started. So, in no particular order, we're going to go through the Christmas Eve Couriers. Some of these are finished, and some of them are so close to being done. They just need their last bits of bling, and then they are complete. So, let me see. Dasher. These are the Christmas Eve Courier collection by Nora Corbett, and I started these for Mania in 2017. This one is finished except for the special bling, and hopefully I have good lighting today. I have an extra light here, and there's a window to that side of me, so hopefully we can get some of the bling bling to show. This one needs some more bling bling. And Cupid, I haven't shown Cupid for a while, because I don't have the pattern out with me, but I've never been a fan of the bird that's underneath there. So I've stitched it and beaded it up to the point of figure this out, and add the last bits of bling, and then it'll be finished. These are all stitched on 32 count Nocturne Belfast linen by Picture This Plus. I bought a large piece, I believe it was a yard, and I cut it to appropriate sizes for all 9 of the reindeer and the sleigh, and I still had a piece left over. If you can hear the lawnmower outside, I'm sorry. That's my husband doing the grass because it needs to get done. We were expecting somebody to stop by today and pick something up, but they didn't. Blitzen. Finished except for the bling in the ribbon. And I believe there's some more in like the antlers, and it's Mill Hill charms, crystals, treasures. That was Blitzen. This one has everything on it, but I'll show it anyways. Dancer. And another fully finished one. Donder. Another fully finished. Vixen. Well, sorry. Stitching and beading and everything is finished. It just needs to be framed, which is what I intended to do with these. That's why. And this next one is woefully behind, and so it is in the Q-snap. You'll be able to see the whole thing. Here's what it will look like. And here's where we're at. One thing I did forget is the before pictures. So I will throw in a stream of before pictures right here. And let's not forget the sleigh. It would look like that when it's finished. And here's where I'm at. Sorry about the squeaky floor, I can't do nothing about it. I'll try not to move. But here's where we're at. So this was my rainy day, snow day project. Meaning if it snowed, I stitched on it. Now it's a rainy day project. All of the whole Christmas Eve Couriers thing is supposed to be my rainy day project. So if it rains, I'm supposed to put at least a length in it. I haven't been very good. I've been naughty. This does not have any beads. It has the Krynic, and all that's really left for this is backstitching the tags. I think there's more stitching to do over here. But yeah, outline those tags, add the beads, and this should be finished. Yeah, not a lot left. I admit that yes, I've been a little bit burnt out on these, which is why I tried to make myself do it, and it does sit beside my chair where I stitch. But yeah, I think right now what I need to do is swap out the last reindeer for the sleigh, because I've been working on the sleigh all winter. all winter. And yeah, that last reindeer has more stitching involved in it than the sleigh does. So I think I should go to the other reindeer. Mix it up. So here's the sleigh in its previous stages. Okay, the next one, I believe this was a new year, new start for 2018. I had bought all of the silks and beads, etc. in a giant piece of fabric so that I could start Royal Tudor Mandala by Chatelaine. This is big. And I am, 3/4 of the way done. I took it off the Q-snap so that I could show you where I'm at. And yeah. So I've been working over here in this corner, this area here. These need the turnips and lettuce. I believe that these are the turnips and these are the lettuce, or something like that. But yeah, there's lots of beads to be added later. This is the only one that has the Jessica stitches on the crown. I decided to leave that until the end for the rest because they're very poofy. So there's the green corner, and a reminder, there's a mistake in the chart on all of this black work. Be careful. It's like they took part of the pattern and superimposed it and it didn't get copied correctly. So just be warned if you're ever doing this. Yeah. So actually this is up according to the arrow in the middle there. Yeah. And yes, Sherry, I know, I need to get plugging on it, but there are, actually while I have it out, most of the time, this spot is covered by the Q-snap. There is some 1/1 on this. That right there is 1/1. And it's repeated 4 times. So, yeah. Everything is repeated 4 times in one way or another. Okay. This is stitched in all of the called for silk, DMC, Rainbow Gallery, metallics, all of that stuff. All called for. Yeah, it was pricey to kit up. If you can get in on that great deal that European Cross Stitch has, I think it's European Cross Stitch, they will sell the kits. They'll kit it up and send you everything. I've bought the beads for that one separate, like I sourced them myself, and then I have 2 more Chatelaines kitted up. Sleeping Beauty's Castle and Marie Antoinette Kaleidoscope. I just went ahead to European Cross Stitch and got the bead kits for those ones. Okay, well, I'm going to pause right now, put that away, and get the next little bundle out. But here's some previous to current photos of Royal Tudor Mandala. Okay, so here we are again, and I have more WIPs to show you. We are still in 2018. Royal Tudor Mandala was started at the beginning of the year, and I believe this next one was a Mania start for 2018. I will have to look that up, and I will put the actual date here. My glasses may have been dark. I was outside for a minute. Relaying messages to my husband. So anyways, this is Dressmaker's Daughter by Mirabilia, because all about the Mirabilia. I stitched this. My method for stitching this was to work on autumn in spring, summer in winter, spring and autumn, and winter in summer, because back in 2018, the Australian stitchers, the wonderful women in Australia that were stitching the Mirabilia Queens of the Seasons, were stitching, you know, winter, etc. in their seasons, and so I was being me and just trying to join in, and I stitched on this instead, because at that time I did not have any of the queens, or I might have had one but not kitted up, but I had this. This really suits me, and I was in the XJudeDesigns Fabric of the Month Club, and this was the fabric that came through that club. 32 count Belfast linen. Still have the tags somewhere. I think it's periwinkle. Oh. Lavender Belfast by XJudeDesigns. And well, let's get closer here so you can really take it in. Summer is finished. Autumn is not. So I was beading from the bottom up, and I got this far, and the only other thing beaded is here. And spring and winter have not started beading yet. I should start working on winter, the beads for winter. But yeah, if you've been with me for a while, you know I say every time, beading is a process. There's a whole setup involved in beading. It's not quite the same as just stitching, because you have to be within certain reach of your bead because of the length of thread that you have here, so you have to reach to bead. So you need a good clear spot on your table or desk or whatever. And yeah, to do that, you either have to have a designated place to bead, or you have to clean up your dinner table every time. So that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But if you want to see a finished version of this, go check out Jurgita at Coffee and Stitches with Jurgita. I think that's what she calls it. I'll link it below. Yeah. That's Dressmaker's Daughter. And there are a lot of beads on that one. And there's even some discontinued treasures. And I've had to replace it with Swarovski crystals. Just because. I believe that's what Jurgita did. And it was a really good option. So that's what I did. This is not the next one. Here's some stages. This was my 2019 New Year New Start. This is Hatter by Gecko Rouge. Artwork by Omri Koresh. I got the 25 count kit fabric, and it was a gift. My husband bought me the kit for Christmas, and this has had work done since my last Flosstube video, and I've decided to scroll it up so that you can see the majority of it, and this is also how I'm going to be stitching on it now. Here it is. Yeah, we are getting into his face here quite a bit now. All the stitching is up to this pink line, I believe, is finished. There's a little bit left there, but yeah, the next goal is to work up to the next pink line and fill all this in, come across, and then yeah, scroll it and keep going, you know, typewriter method as I do. I started on the bottom for this one because there was so much of that one color. I know it can be boring, and so I started there. Yeah. I think I wanted to get to the teacup too because it was interesting. I started off stitching this with just the paper pattern, but there is an option to get a PDF backup, and I got the PDF backup, and it works in Pattern Keeper. So this is going much faster than it would be otherwise. So that's that one, and here are some progress pictures for you to admire. That's the only one that I have left from 2019. I don't expect that one to be finished anytime soon. I have 3 full coverage on the go. That one is one of them, and I rotate. I do 1,000 stitches on that, go to a different one, and then back to a different one, and then, yeah. I have a system. It works for me. I'm happy with it. My full coverage are getting, I feel like, more progress than my other stitches because I am so dedicated to them. I think my routine is really good for that. I haven't burnt out on those yet, but I haven't added another one to the mix, so yeah. So this is the only one that I have left from 2020. This one I started, I'm going to say June of 2020. Do I have a card? Nope, I don't have a start date. This is Beautitudes by My Big Toe. That's what it will look like when it's finished. I know there are a lot of people out there who do not like stitching letters, whether it be the alphabet or poem or biblical verse or anything like that. Me, I'm all about the beautiful letters, the calligraphy, the stitches, the specialty stitches, specialty floss. Those call to me. And this is where I'm at. I'm stitching this on 22 count Hardanger fabric, which I already had in my stash. It calls for silks. I'm not stitching this in silks because, number one, that's expensive. It called for a lot of silk too. I did do a conversion to be similar to the original, but I'm using a much more affordable option, which actually cost me nothing for the blue, because I had the Threadworks in my wish list as an option for this. I had put a bunch of threads in my wish list, and my son so generously bought me this. So this is 1024 by Threadworks with an X, and the red was Cranberry by Gentle Arts because I had a couple of skeins left over from kitting something else up, and then I ran out. I underestimated how much red there is in this. It's a lot of start and stop. I'm going to show you my back. I'm going to be honest, I am not starting and stopping all those little things, so I do drag it across. Because there's dark blue stitching where it comes over, so I'm not worried about it showing through. And it's for me. It's not going to be for anybody else. But anyways, I ran out, so I went to Walmart and I picked up a bunch of skeins of reds that were close, like 814, 815, 914, and 916 or something like that. And I came home and I compared them to the original Gentle Arts because my replacement Gentle Arts were totally different colors. Shades of red. More of a muted shade instead of the bright part of it, so I had to dye my own. Not that there's a lot of variation in that one, but it does, in person, it does show up slightly. Like here's some darker spots. And I don't know, honestly, if that's the Gentle Arts or if that's the thread I dyed. Which is great, because that means I did a good job. Because I ran out of floss. I ran out of the Gentle Arts. I started in the middle, and I ran out of the Gentle Arts somewhere up here. And I believe it's this area that's... Who knows? I did a good job. So anyways, here's some of the previous progress pictures from WIP parades of years past. Beautitudes, My Big Toe, 2020. Okay. Now we're into 2021. So, I can put these down here. 2021, I joined a Facebook group called Magazine Monthly Challenge Group. And I thought that it would be a great way for me to bang out some of those magazine stitches that I have a lot of. I have a lot of patterns from, say, 1995 to 2010. I collected a lot of magazines. I still have a lot of those. So some of those I pulled out, what do I really want to stitch on? And this one, as soon as it came out, where is the cover? Oh, this is fallen out of the magazine. June 1999. This is Welcome by Teresa Wentzler. I have stitched Teresa Wentzlers in the past and not intimidated by them, and this is a smaller one, and I really liked it, and it's like, why haven't I stitched it yet? So that challenge prompted me to get it all kitted up. I have some, I'm going to say it's Lugana. It's evenweave. It's looser. I can't remember if that's Lugana or, I don't know. But it's definitely not Belfast. I'm sure it's not Monaco. I'm pretty sure it's Mushroom. No, it's not Mushroom Lugana. I'm pretty sure it's Lugana. And this is how far I am. So almost all of the interior scene is done. There's some swans down here. There's a gazebo. There's a little bridge. This border. Yeah. So still a ways to go. And I'm not burnt out on it or anything. I just need to be in that space, headspace, to pick it up and work on it. Other things have called to me. I love this. I still do. I don't know. It just hasn't called to me. My way of dealing with all the blends, because if you know Teresa Wentzler, you will know that the list is about, what is this? 2, 4, 35 colors, but there's so many blends that it creates about 70 colors. So I just do a floss card. All my floss is cut the same length, so I can just pull one thread of this and one thread of that, get rid of the hair, and stitch. And I try to get it stitched until it's complete, or I leave it parked. Or I cut it off. And I don't have a scrap piece of fabric, but in the past I have used a scrap piece of fabric to put that piece of thread on and then label it. But I haven't had to do that with this one so far. My dog is making noise, so this is a good time for me to pause it, go take care of her. And you can look at the previous progress shots. Okay, so I have a dog in here with me, and we'll see if this keeps her quiet. So, had to move stuff around a little bit. That one. Done. Okay. Oh, we're not even halfway done. So, 2021, it looks like I got quite a bit left over from 2021. Sorry, zipper. Not this one. Not this one. is, I really like this pattern. I even worked on it recently, and I got a lot done. I've got a page finish. This is Les Belles Lettres de Gigi, letter T. That's right, folks. You can't see that. When I had bought it, I knew from other patterns that were in the series that were more visual. They were not blurred out pictures on the internet, because honestly, when I looked this up on 123, this is so faint that it just shows up as a couple of swirly blobs. There's no distinction, no at all on it. I decided to stitch mine on a piece of fabric that I dyed myself. I'm not exactly sure why I had gotten this type of fabric, but I love it. I started it on a different piece of fabric that I had gotten. It was 28 count raspberry Lugana, I think. And I didn't like the way the black was stitching up. And so I dyed my own 35 count Edinburgh linen. And here's where we're at. And it is not showing up nearly as bright as it actually is. But yeah, I got a page finish. I finished this page here, so there's 2 more pages here, and I think a little bit off of the page 1 to do. I had stopped where I did because there's a counting error somewhere in here, and so I figured, well, I'll just come around and come back and then fudge this here. There's another spot where there's a counting error, and you wouldn't know it, but she's like one of these, both of these vines are too long, I think. But yeah, I mean, look at that. So I call this the sexy sampler because it's, you know, black and pink. I think that's such a sexy combo. And this anchor black is really, really saturated on this. Two strands, 2/2 full cross. And I even personalized it because there was a spot that had a name on it, and it was, I don't know anybody with that name. So there we go. Poor Tina. Not poor Tina. Aw, poor Tina. But for as in, poor as in from. I believe it's from in French. Tina. So, yeah, this is, there was, let's see, what did I stitch? Because, yeah, she was finished, this was finished, so I stitched this motif, the poor Tina, the T, this emblem, and this is the back end of a lion. But yeah, I didn't want to put it down, but I had reached the edge of the Q-snap, and I figured, well, let's just finish off that page, take it off the Q-snap, don't put it back on until it's been shown for floss tube because, yeah, I know you don't want to see it in a Q-snap. You want to see the whole deal, so I did that. And now I'm invigorated to work on it again, which means that it's a good time to not work on it. As crazy as it sounds, I would look forward to picking it up again. I could see that one being a finish this year, but I don't know if I'm going to pick it up again right away. Yeah, it's one of those things. Okay. Perman. This is one that I think that I'm going to have to do a fabric wash, because this is extremely stiff, which is not surprising, but this is a kit that I got from my son for Christmas. Perman of Copenhagen. Sampler 1823 by Perman of Copenhagen. That's what it will look like. This is the kit. It came with the floss and the fabric. I am using the kit. And it's a big piece of fabric. I am stitching this 1/2 full X, because I did start it on 2/2 and did not like the coverage, and I'm tempted to remove what I stitched, but it's such a small bit I might leave it. We'll see. But here's where we're at. So I haven't stitched on this for quite a while. I think I picked it up in March, and I worked over here. But yeah, this is a fabric issue. I think I will give it a wash with some dish soap, just because it's very scratchy. And I know people say that the more you work with it, the softer it gets. That might be true for people who stitch in hand, but I have this in a Q-snap, so it doesn't get a lot of movement, right? So yeah, it's not losing the starchiness. So yeah, not going to be finished this year. There. Okay, I don't think that I lost a lot of the chart on there, but yeah. So, right there. That's a bit of the chart now that's embedded onto the vinyl inside the bag, because I had the working copy right up against the vinyl. I usually try to put something like the kit against the vinyl, or have the page turned around, but not against the fabric, because that would cause the ink to transfer onto the fabric, even though it's a laser printed. So, okay, Perman is finished. Now we're getting into May of 2021. I'm just going to reach up here and zipper. So this is Cassiopeia. This was started in, you know what, I'm sorry. Here are some flashbacks of Perman of Copenhagen and Les Belles Lettres de Gigi, because I'm a bad host. I can't remember to do that. Okay. So, now, in Mania for 2021, I decided to start some of the Mirabilias that have been in my stash and begging to be stitched. And so, I started them, because if you don't start them, they'll never get stitched. These ones are ones that have significance to me. This one is Cassiopeia. Here's what it will look like when it's finished. This is stitched on 32 count Dawn by Picture This Plus. I had originally bought this thinking mermaid, but I think it does really good for Cassiopeia. So filling in that giant dress. Basically, all over here, this is the most recent edition. Let me move my needle minder here. Don't lose it. Okay. So, yeah. It is a little bit of a tedious one because of the dark fabric, but I got myself a magnifying light, and it works really good. No, you know what? I haven't worked on this since I got that light. I was using these, which also work really, really well. The only thing is they weigh down my glasses, and so they slide, and that's a little bit annoying. I have no plans to have this finished this year or next, but I am getting through the better part of the skirt. I mean, we're up here now, so that part is finished. So yeah, I mean, it shouldn't take that long if I just sat down and buckled in, but that's where we're at. So the reason that one has special meaning to me is my sister is very into star signs, you know, that kind of thing, and so that when I see it, it makes me think of her. Greek mythology, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. This next one also started in May, is Queen Mariposa. And she is still on the frame. Everything that is stitched is visible within the frame, and here's where it's at. And this is being stitched on, I don't have it written down, Zephyr. I Picture This Plus, 32 count. another fabric that I had bought intending for a mermaid. But I thought this design is perfect for it because of all the butterflies. It's very cheery type, and yeah. So I know it's supposed to, you know, the little write-up about it talks about by night she becomes Queen Mariposa, but that's whatever. I think it's still going to be beautiful on the blue, bright daylight. And yeah, so this one is one that I chose to stitch because my sister, other sister, used to be really big into butterflies. And all the butterflies in there. So that's why that one speaks to me. So now you can have a little look at the previous progress pictures for those two. Okay, this next Mirabilia I started also in May of 2021, also part of the Mania. This is one I started just because it's beautiful. I have it, I have the fabric, I had, yeah, I think it's the perfect combination, and so I really wanted to start it, so I did. This is Adia, the Garden Fairy. And that's what it will look like. And I am stitching mine on 32 count Huntress by Picture This Plus. And I did not buy this fabric for this. What did I buy it for? I've seen other people stitching on Huntress, and I thought I really need to get me some of that. So I did. Originally, I got the Huntress with the metallic threads in it, and I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with that. I didn't like it. It's kitted up with something that's maybe, but here's where we are with this. And it's funny because after I started this, I watch Stitching at the Cabin. Anytime there's a new video, I go and watch it. And Julie's daughter, Elise, forgive me, I'm having a brain fart. She's not on there right now because she just had a baby. Okay, I had to go and watch the intro because I knew it wasn't Alicia, but Alyssa. Alyssa is stitching Pandemic with the same color combination because it's a beautiful color combination. And yeah, so it might not be very woodland, whatever, but it's very, very beautiful, bold and beautiful. So this is Adia on Huntress by Picture This Plus. I I think I see it go on Stash Unloads as a out of print, but I don't think it is actually out of print. But if you want it, maybe you better go rush and get it, because it might be out of print or soon to be. Yeah. Here are pictures past. If you hear the snoring, that's Teresa. Put her on a diet. We'll see how this goes. And I mean an actual diet, like bought the special food. Because she weighs about twice as much as she actually should, which is not at all healthy. Okay. This next project, I am going to show you. I started this in July of 2021. I remember starting it because that's the year, that's when my husband had to go for back surgery. And I just grabbed a kit to take to work on in the hotel and, you know, at his bedside and everything when he had his spinal surgery. So this is Poppy Girl. Girl in a Poppy Field. I refer to her as Poppy Girl by Vervico. And I started it on the 14 count Ada that came in the kit. I put that to the side when we got home and didn't want to work on it ever again. But I had this piece of 32 count Belfast Platinum Zygote. You guys are never going to see the previous pictures. Anyways, I still have quite a bit left on here, but I don't like cutting it until I have my established where the edge is. Yeah, just because of mistakes in the past. So this is where it's at. So this year I mostly worked on this part here. Brought it down to the corner and across. I think this may have been finished, but if not, this whole side all the way down is basically what I worked on most recently. In case you haven't noticed, I am a center starter for the most part. Yeah. I like to know that it's going to be centered in the fabric that I pick. Something like this, I know I need it to be, I would not center it like in the middle of this piece of fabric, but I knew basically I wanted to use this end of it, so found the center and then down a couple inches and then down to the center from there and started her. So here are her historical pictures. All right, now I need to put these ones back on the shelf and pull down a bunch more. Somebody wants to see this. Time to take it off the Q-snap. Move it to a new spot. So, you're going to see all of it. Okay, so now we're into my WIPs from 2022. This one is I started it and I'm on the fence about my choices. But honestly, I haven't even unfolded it yet. So I might love it, I might not, but we'll see. This is Rose Quaker by Stichting van der Leyenberg. It's the Rose Quaker. I only have the black and white version printed. Yeah, I started this on 32 count Nessie by Picture This Plus, and this is my test stitch right there. Don't know if that focused or not, but so I gridded out my fabric because I will grid outlines and center lines if I'm going to be starting in the corner instead of the center. And that's what I did. I started in the corner, top left corner, and that's as far as I got. I might have picked this up and stitched on it like for 2 sessions. I still like it. It's 1 strand over 2. It's plump enough to almost look like 2 strands until you get to the darker color. Right here you can kind of tell it's 1 strand. I was doing a conversion. I was gonna try to do a conversion to Victorian Motto Sampler Shop. I bought 2 of her kits, and they're all greens and reds and whites and pinks. And yeah, I thought I would go with that. And some of them I decided, well, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna pull a Leo and Roxy in here too, because why not? So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to pull it out and stitch on it to see, do I still love it? If you've been with me for a while, you know that Quakers are not my thing. So I think, I mean, I really like this design. I really do. I've seen it stitched lots. And the last time I saw it stitched was by Sarah at Our Stitching Kingdom. She had broken it down into 12 sections and tried to have a section a month done. I'm not going to do that. It isn't high on my priorities to get finished, so I'm not going to plan for anything like that. But I think it can stay a WIP. I don't think it's going to be banished. So, yeah. it would be nice to see that once in a while, right? So anyways, let's get going. So previous pictures are probably going to look the same. This one, I started in May of 2022 for Mania. I started it with Kim from Stitch and Stuff, and she bought me this beautiful bag from Sirena Stitching. This is the Dimensions Kit, Vintage Simplicity. It's folded up a little bit so that it would fit in here, but once again, did not like the Ada that came with the kit, so I had some, I'm pretty sure this is Monaco. That was just the right size, and you're going to be stunned because I pulled it out. I don't even remember why I pulled it out, but it just called to me. And here's where we're at. Yeah. Last time I worked on it, she did not have a head. So now she has a head. And this wants to fall. Take the needle minder off because that's... Yeah. Now she has a face. The dress is started down to... I went to where I could reach it with the Q-snap. And that's where I stopped. And I thought, if I'm going to move it, if I move the Q-snap, I'm going to want to move it to a spot to work on it easier. So I stitched as much as I could in that area before I pulled it off and left it off so that I could show it to you. And that's where we're at. There is still a lot of backstitching left in the blue dress, and I know Melody said that she had a struggle with the red dress. I'm not having a struggle yet. So, yeah. So we're getting there. It's exciting. So now you will see a parade of previous progress pictures. This next one is one that I started because Magazine Monthly Challenge Group. This is from a magazine, and I think I started it in December of 2022. I'm not 100% sure on that. Pageant Kings. This is designed by it's in this magazine. Sandy Orton. Sandy Orton is the designer for this. Pageant Kings in the Treasures in Needlework premiere issue from I can't even Well, it doesn't have a year that I can quickly find, but anyways, here is where I'm at. This one is supposed to, I think it says to stitch it on 28 count, 2/2. I'm stitching it on 32 count. Belfast linen by Perman of Copenhagen that I had in my stash. And it looks so good. It looks so good. Look at that. I hope it's focusing. But yeah. So many metallics. Oh, yeah. I backstitch as I go, especially on something this intricate, because it would be a nightmare to do that at the very end. Yeah. This is another one of those that I would love to pull it out and work on some more. No real reason for me not right now. Just that it's a more recent start and I'm not I'm trying to focus on my older whips before I get into these ones. So that was Pageant Kings. Now I'm going to back up a little bit because, well, here's some historical pictures of that. Historical. Okay. I am holding in my hands one of the biggest projects that I have ever stitched. Well, no. Okay. I'm not going to say that. I haven't compared stitch count. I do have a couple of heids in my pocket finished. And I think this is up there with the biggest. But it's not finished. This is a stitching shelf by Amy Stewart. Here's what it will look like finished. And this is really hard to show you where it's at because there are so many parked threads. And I started this in August of 2022 with Carolyn Zook of Zook Stitch and Kim from Stitch and Stuff and a bunch of other people. We even have a Facebook group. But yeah, the three of us started the Facebook group because of the Stitch Along that we started. And it ended up being more of a start along. But yeah, here is where it's at right now. So I have my fabric. This is 25 count Lugana. And we're going to have to back up a little bit more after this because I missed another one. Yeah, 2/1 half cross. I'm not going to call it 10 stitch because I'm not that technical of a stitcher, but I understand the difference between 10 and half cross, so I just say half cross. But yeah, So the most recent section that I worked on is this one right here, because you know I moved the Q-snap over to autumn. I'm not stitching this seasonally. I switch it every once in a while, but it kind of is with the seasons. But yeah, so I've been working in this area mostly. Really, I was just, you know, filling her in all the way to the bottom, and then this side, like, just bringing it down. Just bring everything down. Yeah. So, here are some previous years past photos. And now I gotta fold this sheet. This is not bigger than some projects that are out there, but it's a decent size. Okay. Inner Depths was started before a stitching shelf. I believe I started this in July, right after I finished Beloved. Yeah, 2022. This is by artwork by Chris Ortega. Here's what it will look like when it's finished. And here's where it's at now. So yeah, slowly but surely getting there. I worked on it for the last couple days. I am working on this area, bringing it down to row 80. So I've come across to here, got finishing here, and I'm just working my way that way till row 80 is complete, and then we'll zip back to row 90 and then 100. Yep. This one I am also stitching 2/1 half cross on 25 count antique white Lugana. And here are some pictures of before. Okay, so now I'm going to pause it. I'm going to pull down the 2023 WIPs, and we'll be back. Okay, so let's see. Let's try to get this done quickly. Okay, so February of 2023, I started this with Carolyn Zook and I think Robin from Birdseye Stitching. They showed this on one of their videos, and I don't know why, but this really, really spoke to me. So I bought it, I got all the floss, and we started it. I think we started it on Valentine's Day. I could be wrong, but we started it, and I am stitching mine 1/2 on 35 count Edinburgh linen. And here's where I'm at. And this is another one where I really do like the progress that's happening. I want to pick it up again. Yeah. Will I finish it anytime this year? No. No way. That's not happening. Yeah. Here are previous pictures. Of course, there should only be one because I'm showing pictures from my previous WIP parades. So, HL Moth, I'm going to be honest, I haven't touched it. I'm not even sure that I'm going to consider it a WIP. If I have a picture from a previous WIP parade, I'll put it here. Otherwise, Queen of Hearts was started in 2023 for my birthday. This is by Owl Forest Embroidery. Here's what it will look like when it's finished. And this is one that I put out at my stitching chair, all Q-snapped up and ready to go, and I worked on it. And I got all the way to the bottom. That is almost 100% complete. There are a couple of gold stitches that go in each of the cards, and the back stitching in the flower centers here and here and across here still have to be done, and then the beading. Need help. I don't know if you can tell, but this is the called for, well, I'm using my own conversion from their called for DMC metallic nightmare to petite treasure braid. But so the centers of the flowers are supposed to be stitched in the red metallic. And I thought, well, let's try the gold metallic. So I'm not sure which way I want to go. This is red and this is gold. Now I didn't do the gold all the way across, so it's only the first like 3. Yeah. On the fence. I don't know. Still don't know. But I have all of the stitching in the dress is finished. There's a couple of rows of specialty stitches down here, and then beading. And this one does not have a lot of beading, but it's a good amount. And I do have, I think I have all the beads. I don't have all the treasures. One of them is impossible to find. That's the rosettes. Okay, so here's what it would have looked like on the last WIP Parade. This is Princess Khaleesi. Okay. It's almost time for her pill, so I think that's why she's being vocal. Okay. Is it? Yeah. She's blind. She doesn't know where she is. I'm just going to put you back. We'll be done soon. Okay. This next one is a heart. Is it heart and hand? Yeah, it is heart and hand. Halloween Tiny Town. Pretty sure this is what it's referring to. In my list, it just says Halloween 2023. These are my starts, or yeah, I have them ordered by starts. This is as far as I got. This was a my lunchtime project till I found something else that I liked better. I have a bunch of similar overdyes in here that I'm using instead of the called for, because I didn't have the called for, and I just want to use my stash. So that's that one. And now for the two stockings. I almost thought I lost one because it wasn't in the bag where I keep the threads, or in the, well, I didn't think it was in here. But this is a sled stocking by Dimensions. I think there was a very pitiful start on it. And I was really struggling with the fabric because it's a Dimensions 14 count Aida. I've done dimension stockings before. I just don't remember it being this much of a bother, but I guess I just got fussy. And I really didn't like working on it. I picked it up and I started to work on it and I was like, oh god, this is so stressful. So I just took it, everything stitched and all, and I washed it. And now it's so soft. It's actually a dream to work on now. And here's where I'm at. Yep. So I don't expect to get this one finished this year, but I'm not hating working on it, so we'll see. I might try to bring it out every month, put some into it. We'll see. This one I started, I believe it was October 16th. Pretty sure. This next one, so if there's a previous picture, I'll put it there. This one is Cranberry and Pines by Rosewood Manor. I saw Sarah at Stitch and Stuff stitching this for her husband, and my husband has a stocking. So I'm not stitching this for my husband, I'm stitching this for my son-in-law. Here's where I'm at. This is actually going a lot faster when I pick it up and work on it. Yeah, I mean, this is the bottom heel. That's right there. That's right there. That is that. So I have this left to do. I'm pretty sure I can get this done this year. I have 5 months left. Yeah, I think I can do that. I had it on the Q-snap down by my chair. I think the Q-snap was a little too big for it. I think I like it in a 16 by 16. No, 11 by 11 will be, I think, the right size frame for me to work on that. If there's a previous picture, there it is. Okay, now 2024 starts. I am gonna have to go get 2 of these because they're downstairs, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I have 5 more projects to show you, and then that's the end of my WIP parade. So yeah, where did I put them? So I had to run downstairs to get this one. I gave the dog her pill, so hopefully she'll be settled for now. Don't know when I started it, but it was this year, so I don't think that there's a start picture, like a, whoops. No, there's nothing in my drink. So I think all of these are going to be new. There will not be a, here it was, picture to show you. This has been my newest lunchtime project. This is well suited. My ink circles, this is my first ink circles project. It is called to be stitched on 28 count, I believe, and it would be 9 inches square or something like that. But that was going to be too big because I live in a small house, and so my finishes should be smaller, you know, unless it's like Mirabilia or something like that. There's not much you can do about that. I love it. I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to put it in the under the bed box. My bin of shame. Shame it's not framed until whenever. And here's where I'm at. So, considering I started this year, not exactly sure when, but this is really great progress. And it calls for Baldanis, but I am using just DMC black. The red is Turkish Red by Weeks Dye Works, and the gold is PB34. 35. Right there. Don't know if that's going to focus, but that's what it is. PB35. Turkish Red, DMC Black. And yeah, when it's finished, I hope to turn it into a Viscornu. So that means that I have to stitch some kind of design for the bottom, which may be a simplified version of that, or just like scrolly something. Yeah. And this is something that I started because I had to itch to start something new. And I was on Heaven and Earth, and I saw that they had this. I believe I started it Valentine's Day. Right around Valentine's Day. And I had bought my friend Gail this pattern for her to use as a introduction to full coverage, because she really wants to try it, and she loved this pattern when I showed it to her, so I bought her her own Simply Meant to Be. I will put the details here about the artist. It's Cheryl something, and this is what it will look like when it's finished and where I am. So this is Sally's arm here, and that's Jack's hand there. Yeah. So I started this and I stopped it so that Gail could get her bearings on how she's going to proceed with this. And I think she's doing all right. Gail's Golden Needle, so go check her out. And since I wanted to work on something smaller and full coverage, and I thought I don't want to race ahead of Gail, I also had this. I had bought this one quite a while ago. and decided that it was time to start it, because honestly, these scraps of fabric are what I got off of the well-suited piece of fabric that I chopped up. So this is the Story Keep version of Story Keeper by Selena Fennick, retired now. And that's how far I am. I believe I'm more than 50%. There was a change that I made, and then I forgot that I made the change, and then it's in there. It's not a big deal. But there's a symbol for Kreinik 32, and I used it in the background here, but that symbol is also used in her flesh. I decided to just go with white for the flesh, but I forgot that I was changing anything else to white, and I did the book in the Kreinik, and I was like, you know what? Book, okay, flesh, white, and now we're past that. So there is a little bit of reflective on the pages, which I thought, oh well. Oh well. So be it. And if you hear noises from outside, well, sorry. That's, summer. You gotta get work done on the roads or whatever they're doing. So, this one, I don't have the chart with me right here. Shamrock Shamrock by Sweetheart Tree. I started this in March because of it's Shamrock, St. Patrick's Day. No intention to get it finished for St. Patrick's Day this year. It's possible to have it finished for next year, but here's where it's at. I'm just trying to see if because it's one of these project bags right here, but yeah, it's in this bag, so there's what it will be finished. Not the greatest picture. There you go. And that's where I'm at. Using the called for DMCs and anything else. Does anybody else do this? Rolled up their projects? I had a bunch of these because that's what I stitched with. I'm thinking I might cut this so that it actually fits in the bag. Okay. One more, then we're done. I don't have a photo of this. I will have to insert, I will insert a photo here. I'll have to get one. This is the Fungi Saw by Living on the Rainbow. The last parts were just released. I still have to download the last two parts, but all the pages have been released. I'm still working on finishing the cover. Now, I have all the stitches for the background almost finished. It's a lot of filling in, and I just have a little bit here left to do. I don't know if you can tell. And then the cover is fully finished. I have to do some back stitching. The back cover is also supposed to have the green background filled in. I made I may leave it out. I might just finish the little frog guy here, add the back stitching for the lettering, and say done. And I only have the one mushroom page finished. So when this is finished, all of these pages will be cut apart and assembled into pages to go into the book. So that's where that one's at. Not finished yet. I was hoping to keep up with this. Sal, Amy at Mimi Stitchery, and Gail at Gail's Golden Needle, they're all working on it too. And Amy from Amy Loves Toads, I think she's also doing this. And when they've released the parts with the alternative parts, it was like, I wish I had known, because those pieces that I showed you are scraps. They are literally from my bin of odds and ends, and they were the perfect size, and I dyed that piece of 32 count white to be parchment like, and yeah, but I might do something with that anyways. So that's everything. That is all the WIPs. I do have some exciting news. I don't have any plans to start anything new. There was an Alice in Wonderland kind of brewing, but I need to finish some things, I think. I'm just not feeling a new start right now. So, I didn't say that I was going to announce or show this at the beginning of the video, so I think I'm going to save it for another video. Because this is going to be long enough as it is. Lots of editing to do. And, but if you want to see what I'm talking about, go check out my Instagram, TinaStitches74. It's, pretty amazing. And yeah, until next time, take care of each other, stitch when you can, stitch what you want when you want, follow your rules, whatever. You're stitching your rules. Until next time.